Okay, guys, it's Wednesday. Hopefully, you finished your quiz. I know there's some difficult pieces in there. If I'm still out, I apologize. But we're going to go ahead and move on. So, finish your quiz if you haven't done so. We're going to do the intro to 3D figures here. I'm just going to talk about prisms and cubes today. This is a long unit, so there's another quiz actually before the test. So, let's get started here. All right. Intro to 3D figures. Faces of a three-dimensional figure are any of the surfaces, including bases. A lateral face does not include a base. You'll see what I mean in a minute. The base of a 3D figure names, all right, the shape. Okay. A prism, a prism has two bases which are parallel. Parallel, they don't touch. A prism, here's our prism, all right, has two bases. Here's our bases, right, that don't touch each other and do not touch, right, just as I said. The vertex, VERTEX, of a three-dimensional figure, all right, the vertex is, sorry, apologize, a little disheveled here. The vertex is the corner of the three-dimensional figure. In the edge is the line segment that joins the faces. Okay, I apologize about that. Just worried here. Okay, so we're going to label the vertexes, the edges, the faces, and the bases on each figure. Let's start with our prism. Okay, so we talked about a vertex. A vertex is the corner, right? And let's do that right there. VERTEX. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's one over there, which would be 8 on this prism, right? Okay. These long lines are called edges, right? Edge, 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 and so on, right? Now, when we look at this, all right, we're looking at a face, okay? So we need to label a face. So this is a face, okay? And then finally, all right, we need to label the base, okay? The base. So remember, all right, the base is what labels a three-dimensional figure. So this is a base right here. And that's why this is a rectangular prism, because this is a rectangle and the bottom is a rectangle, okay? So we have our vertexes, which is our corner, our base, which really is the top and the bottom. A face, all right, is just the front and the back. And really these are faces, but they're also bases, the top and the bottom, and our edges. Okay, now let's do the same thing to the cube. Okay? So our cube, all right, again, let's start with an edge. Okay? And then we have our vertex, our corners, right? VERTEX. Those are our vertex. And the plural of vertex is vertice. All right. This is a face. And then finally, our top and our bottom right here is what we call our base. Okay. So it's really the same thing. The difference between these two is a rectangular prism. All right. It has 4 rectangular faces. All right. And those could be squares, those could be rectangles. We don't know. Over here on a cube, everything is congruent. All the faces are equal. Congruent means equals, right? Okay. So let's continue on. Letter A. How many cubes How are cubes and rectangular prisms the same, right? So they both have what? They both have 8 vertices, all right? Vertices, all right? What else do they have the same? See our vertices? They both have 8 of them, right? They both have 12 edges, right? And let's talk about that. So an edge is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the back 9, 10, 11, 12. And if you did the same thing here and you counted all of these line segments, those are all edges. And they all both have what? 6 faces, right? Faces, these are all faces, right? And if we look at that, they all have the same. So that's how they're same, all right? A cube is a specific type of rectangular prism. What makes a cube unique? It is all the sides and all the angles are congruent. All sides and edges are equal. And a fancy word for equal is congruent. Gruent. Okay, so some good vocabulary there. All right. A prism is a solid figure with 2 parallel, Parallel, bases that are separated by the height of the figure. The bases are congruent. Okay, so the prism. So our bases, they're all congruent. And really, on a prism, all of the faces are congruent. So on this type of prism, all right? But if we look at a rectangular prism, the bases are congruent. So this base is congruent to this, right? And if you were to roll it over, this would now be a base and that would be a base. All right, so now let's go to Egypt, to the pyramids. A pyramid is a solid figure with one base and triangular, Gular, triangular faces. And we're going to see that on the next page. The height of the pyramid forms a right angle. And with bases, all right, pyramids are named by their bases. So we could have a triangular pyramid, we could have a square pyramid. Those are the 2 types that we'll deal with, okay? So a lot of vocabulary there, all right? And that was a long clip just on the front pages. That was 8 minutes. So if you need to go back and rewind it, take a look at it. But yours should look exactly like mine because when we write it, we will remember it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. The first one up, all right, we're going to identify the name, the total faces, the bases, and they want us to shade them and use colored pencils to shade those. I'm not going to worry about those. We're just going to talk about them right now. So the first one up I have is a cube. Okay, a cube means everything is congruent. The total number of faces, all right? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 faces, right? And they're all squares, all right? So if we look at our base, that's what it's sitting on. There's a base, and there's a base. So there's 2 square bases. How many vertices do you see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 vertices. And then how many edges? All right, well, remember our edges are our line segments. So if you were to count all of these edges up, you would get 12. Okay? So what I would like you to do is pause the video and then check your work with mine as I go through it. Okay? So go ahead and pause it and try and do the rest of these and fill them out. Okay? If you're checking now, let's take a look at the next one. This is a rectangular prism, right? And total number of faces, all right, is the same as the cube. It's 6 faces. There's 6 faces. And what are they? They're rectangles. All right. We still have two bases, the top and the bottom. There's two bases, and they are rectangles. All right. And the number of edges and the vertices are going to be the same as this, 8 and 12. Why? Because they're prisms. So if we were to count all the line segments up, we would get 12. If we were to count all of the vertices up, the corners, we would get 8. So they are very similar. The difference is this is a cube and everything's congruent. In a rectangular prism, they are not. Next one up, okay, is a triangular prism. Okay, so this is a little bit different. So let's take a look at it. Triangular, Triangular, prism. Now, what's the total number of faces here? Okay, so I have one triangle, two triangles, and I have three rectangles. So 2 plus 3 is 5, right? And I have rectangles here, and I have triangles. Now, let's talk about the bases. When we have a triangular prism, we're going to look at these two as our bases. So we have two triangles as our bases, okay? Now, let's count our number of vertices. They are not the same. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 vertices. And how many edges? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 edges. Okay, so the edges are the line segments. And even though you can't see them, these dotted lines, we have to count them. Okay? Okay, next up is a pyramid. Okay, now this is a rectangular pyramid. Okay, rectangular, and I misspoke earlier. It's rectangular and square and triangular. So this is a rectangular pyramid. Rectangular pyramid. Pyramid. Okay. Total number of faces on it. Well, if it's a square or rectangular pyramid, all right, we have to count the base as 1. It's going to be a little bit different. And then we have 4 triangles that make it up. So 4 plus 1 is 5, all right? 5 faces. So we have 4 triangles and 1 rectangle. And we label it by its base, what it's sitting on, okay? The base is 1 rectangle. Like I said, what it's sitting on right here. How many vertices does this have? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 vertices. How many edges does it have? Well, let's be careful with this now. We know we have 4 on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Back there you can't see that one. 7 and 8. Okay, so we have 8 edges. All right, let's continue on. On our triangular pyramid, triangular, right? Triangular, pyramid. Okay, and it's just sitting on a triangle. Now, there are different types of triangular pyramids. Remember we talked about the types of triangles, equilateral, isosceles, and scalene. All right, so we have to identify this. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. All right, next up is the number of faces it has. 1, back here is 2, 3, and 4. So it has 4, and they are triangles. The base is 1, and it's 1 triangle. So you'll notice that pyramids have 1 base, and our vertices 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 vertices. On a rectangular, we had 1 more, which was 5. And our edges 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 edges. Okay, so there's a lot right there. And if you need to go back and take a look, you can. All right. Just introducing three-dimensional figures. Letter A. What do you notice about the difference between a pyramid and a prism? All right. Well, prisms have rectangular faces and two bases, while pyramids have triangular faces and only one base. All right. So, what do I notice the difference between a pyramid and a prism? All right. Well, let's just say a pyramid, Pyramid, has one base. They have one base and triangular faces. And triangular, Triangula, faces. And a prism, our prism, all right, has rectangular faces and two bases. Has two bases and rectangular faces. Jonas says that a triangular prism is unique because it has two triangular faces. Do you agree or disagree with Jonah? I'm going to disagree. All right. The triangular prism is unique because it has two triangular bases that do not intersect. Okay. So Jonas says that the triangular prism is unique because it has two triangular faces. We're going to disagree there. And why do we disagree? All right. Well, a triangular prism right here has two bases, right? Okay, has two bases, all right? And it has three faces there, okay? All right, let's flip it over. And we take a look at this. This is going to be your homework tonight. You have 9 problems. Read it through. We'll check it tomorrow on Thursday. Have a good day.